Hey guys, it's Dan, your host of your Dan's Reviews, and today I'm back for another video for the Walking Dead universe. And in today's video, we're going to be doing another Q&A video. We're going to go through your fan reception, your questions, your comments on the premiere of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, and whether or not we think this is a weak start for this season. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today. This one's going to be doing a review for The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon, The Book of Carol, Season 2. We're going to go through some of your reception, some of your fan feedback, some of your thoughts on the Season 2 premiere of The Walking Dead, Daryl Dixon. Now obviously, if you haven't been keeping up with some of the videos coming up this, past couple days, obviously you're probably aware of the fact that Paramount screwed up with Daryl Dixon. The entire season was leaked. And we have seen it. However, we are not going to be discussing anything revolving any further episodes. So when we do these videos every week, it's really more so just me going over your guys' thoughts on the newest episodes. But if you're looking for me to make any kind of predictions or anything like that, obviously not going to happen, you know what I'm saying? But I want to go over your guys' thoughts. I want to go over your guys' reception for the premiere because there are a lot of interesting comments you guys made about this episode that I do find to be pretty interesting. So, obviously we did the review this past Sunday. We did the predictions for episode 2. Damn near the only prediction video we're going to be doing this year for Daryl Dixon. So, we'll probably do a season 3 predictions once the season 2 finale comes out. But, I can't predict the other episodes because I've seen them. So, you can thank Paramount for that as well. But, yeah, so we got some great comments from y'all, mostly good, but also mixed, I'd also say. This premiere is kind of like, I don't know. It's very back and forth with the fans, I've noticed. Now, you guys know my opinions. I thought it was a solid start. I thought it was pretty good. I don't think it was amazing. I think there was a lot of issues with this episode, but I think it was, decently enjoyable. You know what I'm saying? It was decently enjoyable. I do think, and this is just me talking, this isn't, the fan reception, but I do think it's the weakest episode of Daryl Dixon so far. I don't even think that's a debate, honestly, at least for me. I think all the episodes of Season 1 were easily better than this first episode of Season 2. There was way more going on. We weren't stuck on a farm for 40 minutes. I mean, yeah, no, honestly, I think in terms of getting an actual premiere, this didn't feel like premiere material. And I think that's the main problem I had with it. It didn't feel like a premiere. It felt like any other episode, honestly. That's what it felt like to me. Now, to kind of get into this here, starting off with Mr. Good, who says, this episode was blah. This episode was a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 at best. It feels like a really frustrating Fear the Walking Dead episode. Janae getting away with stupid, and etc. So, yeah, I understand that completely. I completely understand where you're coming from with that one. Like I said, I'm trying to be nice by giving it a 7 out of 10 because I think there is enough to it. I think it is nice to see Carol again. I think it's nice to see, Daryl and the Puval shootout. There are good things, but I will admit this. Yeah, a 5 out of 10, a 6 out of 10. I don't think that's exactly anything that's too far off, honestly. I get your opinion. Honestly, I'm kind of there with you in some aspects because, like I said, I think the problem with this episode is that it doesn't feel fresh. It doesn't feel something like epic, you know what I'm saying? Like when I watch a premiere, like when we watch the Dead City premiere or the Ones Who Live premiere, holy crap, those are episodes where I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, this feels like something different. This is intriguing. I'm intrigued, you know what I'm saying? Even the Daryl Dixon Season 1 premiere, I was intrigued about the season after I watched that first episode. I was like, okay, I'm down. Let's see what we got. After this episode, I was just sitting there like, okay, okay, we'll see what happens, but it wasn't like, oh damn, that's hooking, you know what I'm saying? The trailer was good for episodes 2 through 6, but I mean, that's really the only intriguing piece, and I don't consider that part of the premiere. So yeah, I don't know. I think a 6, 5.5 out of 10, yeah, it's definitely a warranted rating. I could definitely understand it. Now, the fact that you say it feels like a Fear episode, it does, but it doesn't. I think there's clearly a bit more tight writing than that. However, I do get what you mean in one aspect. Yeah, Janae getting away felt like a Fear moment. And I will also admit that the propeller getting frigged up by Walker guts and blood at the end felt like a fear moment when they're able to just perfectly take off. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that definitely felt like some fear writing a little bit. I will agree with that. But, you know, what are you going to do, right? What are you going to do? Now, on the contrary, we have one from Snake who says that this episode was great. This episode was perfect. This was a great introduction to season 2. He enjoyed Melissa McBride's return to the show and very much enjoyed the premiere overall. So, yeah, you know, like I found it hard to actually catch people that were saying like that type of stuff. That's why I picked Snake's comment, because it sounds like Snake really enjoyed the episode. It sounds like everything was really going well for him. And Melissa McBride, I will highlight, it is very awesome to have Melissa back in the Walking Dead franchise. That is something that, because, I mean, yes, she was in the season 1 finale, but it's nice to see her as a full character leading an episode. That's definitely really fantastic. She's a great actress, and I'm glad to have her, you know, as part of the cast for this season. I think she's, you know, really, really great. So it is nice to have Carol back. I do agree with that. Yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, that's one of the only more positive ones I heard, but it is nice to hear that there are some people out there that do think that the episode is great and that the episode is, you know, really, really epic and stuff like that. And, you know, I will say this. One thing that I do think is epic about this episode that's really exciting is the shootout with Janae's people. I think before you get Janae getting away, that's a really intense scene. And I think that's a really fun scene for a premiere. However, I will say that, yeah, you know, there are still flaws mixed in with that good stuff. You know, like, whereas with Dead City or The Ones Who Live or even the Daryl season 1 premiere, you know, I couldn't say that. And you know what's funny? I'd even say this. I think out of the spin-off era, like out of the new spin-offs, like Once You Live, Dead City, Daryl Dixon, this is my least favorite premiere, easily. I don't even think it's kind of close. But I will say this. For this to be the weakest premiere out of the bunch, you've done a good enough job, because this is still a good enough episode for me. Like, I still don't think this episode's that bad. You know, I think some people are kind of taking it a little too far the other way, calling it a, you know, piece of crap. But yeah, you know, like I said, the one thing about this though is that, you know, everybody has an opinion. Everybody can all kind of, you know, agree, disagree. That's the fun thing about it. If we all had the same opinion, it would kind of be boring, wouldn't it? You know what I'm saying? So, you know, that's the fun thing about opinions. Now, the next one comes from Sylvie, who says that Dan, honestly, Ash having this elaborate setup, all this stuff, all this equipment and all this type of thing, they just don't find it believable. They find it very hard to believe and very convenient that Ash would have all that stuff. Now, yes and no, because here's the thing about that, right, is that Ash does have a lot of time on his hands. We have to remember how many years in the apocalypse this is in. You know what I'm saying? So Ash having that setup definitely, I think, makes sense in, you know, some areas. I will say I'm a little blown away that the generator still works when it did, but they did a decent job with the realism there, too, because it was cutting in and out. You know, so that was partly realistic. That is one thing I do want to highlight about the premiere that I thought was very slept on from a lot of fans, is that I think Ash was actually a really cool character. I liked his character. I liked his story. I liked everything he was about. I mean, I didn't appreciate the fact that Carol lied to him. I didn't think that was all that necessary. But I will say this. Ash is a cool character. I like him. I think the start of his character is good, and I think the actor did a really good job as well, too. So I think overall, Ash is off to a really, really good start for me. I think he's really proven himself already. Next one comes from Father Daniel, who says that, Dan, yeah, I have to admit, Janae getting away and poofing away in the way that she did was definitely unrealistic and definitely very goofy. Yeah, you know, Janae getting away, for me, is probably my biggest flaw about the episode. It just felt so unnatural. The scene felt so weird and you know, miswritten, if that makes any sense. You know, like, it wasn't, like, it was underwritten. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't feel like they fully knew what to do, so they just had her disappear, you know? Which, yeah, again, I understand because Janae should live past the premiere. That's not the issue here. Janae surviving is a must, I'd say. You need more with her character, but I will say this. You know, in the scenario right here, there should have been a much easier way for her to get away. I think there's a lot of other ways you could have done it, a lot of other ways you could have written it, that would have made more sense than, you know, that. Honestly, I would have just personally had a reveal where you find out that there's another soldier or two that survived the crash, and they get out, they start firing at Daryl and the crew, and Falou's hurt, so he can't fight back, so they have to retreat, and then Janae and the one or two other guys that survived the wreck try to hunt down Daryl and them, and they have to get away. You know what I'm saying? Easy solution, honestly, right? I mean, then, you know, at that point, it's easy because then you could say, oh, well, that's how Janae gets away. She doesn't. Her people have to come in and defend her, which just shows how much of a non-fighter she is, that's the sense that I get, is that she's not really a big fighter. You know what I'm saying? She kind of gets her people to do the work for her. So, you know, it is what it is with that. But yeah, it's very interesting to say the least. I don't know why they had her poof away in that kind of manner, but again, plot armor is plot armor, and that's, you know, kind of the way this all goes with Walking Dead. So that's kind of how this all kind of works out, I guess, in the end. And the last one comes from Call, who says that, Dan, honestly, this episode gave me major rebooted Fear vibes, a lot of unrealistic stuff, and a lot of really bad writing. Yeah, you know, like I said, a lot of the comments, as I'm sure you guys are noticing, I picked a good few for today. A lot of people are either mixed on it or they don't like it. There are a few people that loved it, but I will say the percentage is not very high, which is why I named the video what I named it, is that, do you guys think this is a weak start to season 2? You know what I'm saying? Do you guys think this is a rough start to this season? I don't think it's a rough start. I just think it's an incredibly average start. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'd say. It's incredibly average, and I don't think it's on par with the incredibleness of the Dead City Ones Who Live premiere, or even the Season 1 Daryl premiere, honestly. I think that it is very clear to me that, you know, they filmed Season 2 very quickly after Season 1, which we all know. That was very obvious, and it felt obvious in this. It didn't even feel like a different season, and that's not good. You want a refreshing vibe. You want it to feel different. You don't want it to feel like more of the same, and this episode definitely felt more of the same, at least for me. It didn't feel like anything too different, but that's just me. That's just my thoughts, of course. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section below. And, you know, let me know. Do you think this is a weak start to Season 2? I think it was a good start to Season 2, but I don't think it was an incredible start. Maybe not even a great start. Just a, you know, good, average start. You know what I'm saying? That's kind of where I'm at. So, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, guys, make sure to click to subscribe and tune up to any other videos of The Walking Dead. Daryl Dixon. Sure, follow me on Dan's The Walking Dead reviews on Instagram, guys. And, of course, I'll see you guys very soon for more videos of The Walking Dead universe. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.